isolate the noises from the outside as much as possible. We can demonstrate it. In China, over 80 million people work as civil servants, a number nearly the population of Germany. And think about what happens if they all want to buy Volkswagen or Audi when they need a car. As the very first car maker coming into the soil, VW seized the chance and made a name with its good quality and humble look that strongly appealed to the government. Since the late 80s, Santana, Passat, A6 have been serving as the official vehicles. But what we're about to see is set to be a game changer that might take the needle a little towards the Chinese domestic cars from the Germans. Now let's have BYD HAN. So this is a hit executive sedan of BYD. It is undoubtedly a big car, 5 meters long, 1.9 meters wide, and a wheelbase over 2.9. So it is named after one of the strongest Chinese dynasties, and it surely seems that way with its family dragon face. Serious, restraining, but the same restraining 228 horsepower, though it has 600 kilometers with a single charge. Now this is a $30,000 2023 model. With the same money, for the 24 model, you got 100 extra kilometers. And with another $3,000, you get 517 horsepower dual motor. But you cannot tell which is which because they're basically the same, except for the performance label on the back. Even the wheels are the same, 245, 19 inches. And about the wheels, we'll get into that later. Now, we don't see BYD logo in the front as usual. Instead, it has a Chinese character of its name written in an ancient Chinese font. And there are 20 more of them standing guard in this car. Very Chinese vibe, or BYD vibe. And there's more BYD vibe on the inside, but only better. We see quite a lot exquisite on the doors and perforated seats for the visual, and the crystal gear knob, and the flocking storage for the touch. Now remember, this is a 23 model. On 24, you can even get Napa leather for free. Another thing I'm expecting from this car is the sound experience. You see, this is a D segment car. Of course, people get in hoping for a cozy, silent, undisturbed ride. And BYD is making sure of that with its 12 Dyne Audio loudspeakers. Very good sound quality. And the dual pane glass on both sides and the front to isolate the noises from the outside as much as possible. We can demonstrate it. What's that? But it might not be the car for the hippies. It has a digital dashboard, just like fuel cars. And it's highly readable. I do like this comparing to HUDs. And here's a fun gimmick. It has an acceleration timer. Well, I know this might not be that daily, but for some people, they might really need it during their me time. A 15.6-inch rotating display with iOS 6 old interface. I don't mind it actually, as long as the buttons do not bury themselves too deep inside. For this car, I can easily activate the cameras all around to get a panoramic view of this car, which should come in very handy in the city. And even if your hands are tied during driving, or you're just too exhausted to lift up your arm, the audio control would love to help. 你好，小迪。
Hello。
播放蓝牙音乐。
好呢，可以在手机上选择喜欢的音乐播放哦。
Now the back seat. The critics have found it difficult to be harsh on BYD's back seat, and they made this one better than what we tested before. The seats inclines and the backrest leans back, and I just heard my spine say good job. You can even get adjustable back seat on top version, which I think should be the next level feeling, but I do need 1 or 2 extra inches under my thighs. And one of my favorite is the darkened glass. I think it does help with the privacy and inner peace. and I think it's a must-have for commute during business or after a long trip. And I love in the armrest those two little charging ports. They're deployed in a very safe place, so they won't get polluted easily. I've been driving this car for over 3 days, and the more I drive it, the more I got fond of this rotating display. I don't know, it just feels bigger and better to look at or to use when it's vertical. I think on that one, BYD really gets me. But the seat's a little bit too high, leaving limited head place for me. But I think drivers with smaller torso should have a better view here than in a Beamer. The sound experience, as we mentioned, is very good. The windows are doing fantastic jobs killing the noises so I can enjoy the Dyne audio or the tranquility. It has a very light steer, just like Atto 3 and Dolphin, and the wheel feels really nice holding it. And the buttons, it might look a little bit complex, but actually they are very good to use, very handful. They're exactly where you want them to be. It just takes you like a few minutes to get how simple it is to use the cameras, the ACC, and the audio control. The acceleration and brake, smooth and mild. That's better than I had imagined. But just go easy on the auto hold because it sometimes kind of draws you forward when you're approaching a full stop. But here comes the major issue that I don't like about this car, the handling. I know this is not a driver's oriented car, but still I want to break it to you. It feels a little wobbly in almost every direction once I go a little bit fast. And that affects the grip of the tire. Whenever I go over a bump, it shivers. And when I'm turning and I want to catch up, it slips. You can feel that through the shaking on the steer and a subtle scream from the tires. Could it get improved with better tires? Yes, but it won't change the limitation of its dynamic. You just get there sooner. And I think that's because of the 3-lane layout suspension, that it cannot hold the tires in a very straight line. It just wobbles somehow. And I think that dims the power, it dims the sport mode, it dims just the overall driving experience. So if you drive this car, just drive steadily, then you can still enjoy yourselves with all those comfort features. So about Han, it looks good, sits okay, drives not unbearable, but does turn me down. But $30,000, sweet. New generations of civil servants might actually vote for it for the look, low maintenance, and slight nationalist sentiment. But what Han has in common with the German predecessors is humbleness in not only the car, but also the brand image. And BYD just seems to be catching up in something and doing better with the others. And that's it for today's video. If you watched this far, please thumbs up and subscribe. I'm Jack, this is Where to Go. See you soon.